Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little lamb.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Well, I don't frankly think it matters whether there was an explicit quid pro quo in this conversation with Zelensky. I think if an American president is asking another foreign leader to interfere in an American election, essentially what we were trying to figure out what was going on between Trump and Putin, then there has to be consequences for that. We spent a year trying to figure out whether he had asked Putin to interfere. We just found out he asked Zelensky to interfere. I don't know that it matters. It's another country.
Okay, so you're saying that an impeachment investigation should be opened up right now?
I mean,
if you were in the House still, you were a former House member, you're now in the Senate, you could be a juror. I understand that. But at this point, it sounds like you're saying this one's open and shut. Don't be, you just said here, don't get creative.
Yeah, I think this one would be open and shut if we had more information than simply anonymous sources that newspapers have written on. I think the whistleblower has to come forward.
Yep.
I think that Republicans who claim to be national security experts need to demand that the whistleblower present himself or herself before Congress. But I think if we do have evidence from this whistleblower that the president indeed tried to bully a foreign power into affecting our elections, then we have to do something about it.
Yes, Adam Schiff, this is what he said. He said this would be an extraordinary remedy, a remedy of last resort, speaking about impeachment, and not first resort. But if the president is essentially withholding military aid, at the same time he's trying to browbeat a foreign leader into doing something illicit, providing dirt on his opponent during a presidential campaign, then that may be the only remedy that is co-equal to the evil that this conduct represents. Nancy Pelosi, quote, if the administration persists in blocking this whistleblower from disclosing to Congress a serious possible breach of constitutional duties by the president, they will be entering a grave new chapter of lawlessness, which will take us into a whole new stage of investigation. Something has changed. Now, the only holdouts now, okay, because there's 130 votes in the House for impeachment. You need 218. Why are there so many Democratic holdouts? Because they were elected as Democrats in states where Donald Trump won. That's why. And the name of the game for a lot of members of Congress is to stay in the game. And they'll tell themselves things like, it's more important that we have a majority. It's more important that I be here than it is to impeach this president. But again, having an election with this president, under this president, with the vice president, Mike Pence, who's also dirty now, certifying the results is really a non-starter if you think about it. If you think about it. And I need you to think about it. This is dangerous. This territory we're in. All right. Everything that happened to Hillary Clinton, with Benghazi, to emails, to hacking, releasing of emails, Facebook ads, she smells like sulfur, she's the devil, all of this stuff, it's going to happen again to Joe Biden. Joe Biden's family is going to be the new Clinton Foundation. Joe Biden in Ukraine is going to be the new Benghazi. We're going to go through the exact same crap. It's going to be the exact same thing. It's going to be somebody with a lot of baggage who was establishment inside the government for 40 years, running against poor victimized Trump, the outsider who's beating back the deep state. It's just a redo. Except, check this out. What's at stake here is so much more important than it was in 2016. See, in 2016, nobody could be 100% sure that Donald Trump wanted to be president, right? I mean, there was talk that he didn't even want to win. He didn't even want to be president. He just wanted to, prove something. He just wanted to, destroy her. Or he just wanted to show that, he was a great brander and it would increase the value of the Trump name. And that's why he was doing it. Whatever. But now, if Donald Trump loses, Donald Trump dies in jail. So you see, the stakes are much higher this time than they were last time. Last time it was fun for him. It was a branding exercise. It was to promote The Apprentice. It was to get a better deal for the Celebrity Apprentice. It was to get a better deal for Ivanka's shoes and Ivanka's purses and Ivanka's, dresses. And it was a better deal for him to build a Moscow Trump Tower and maybe a Riyadh Saudi Arabia. Who the hell knows what was it? We know he lied that he wasn't trying to build a Moscow Trump Tower. We now know he was. But the stakes are so much higher now because if Trump doesn't retain the presidency, remember, he is an unindicted co-conspirator in the Michael Cohen case, which he said, you have to ask Michael Cohen. I didn't know about the $130,000. I didn't know. And Rudy Giuliani was the one that broke the bad news to Sean Hannity, right? Yeah, it was laundered through a law firm. And it was. Remember that? He's doing the same thing. But we're going to have the same election except with much higher stakes for Donald Trump. He will die in jail for all the crimes he has committed, for which Mueller has shown the 3 elements necessary to convict him on 10 counts of obstruction of justice. And also, there's this matter of, paying the women off and lying about it and, funneling the money through Michael Cohen, who's now serving 3 years in Otisville minimum security kosher prison in upstate New York. And then there's Paul Manafort. And then there's Michael Flynn, who was also shaking down the Saudis and also, getting involved in, foreign governments. But this is going to be a redo, except this time Trump could go to jail. So be very clear on what the stakes are going into 2020 for Donald Trump. He has to win or he goes to prison. And everybody knows it. Alan in Boca.
Hey, Randy, how are you today?
I'm good. It's pretty much a good news Monday.
Let's hope so. Listen, I was reading something on Twitter this weekend, and I think it's important for everyone to know to call your representative and ask them to support impeachment. And I live in South Florida, okay? So, I mean, you can't throw a rock without hitting a Democrat in South Florida, okay? I live in Boca, of all places. And so Lois Frankel is my representative.
She's mine, too.
Why she has – okay. And who's the guy just next door, just west of us? The gentleman with the beard.
With the beard?
Yes. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Me too.
You've spoken to him on the air, or Nicole has. Nicole, I can't remember his name. I'm drawing a blank.
All right.
So why Lois Frankel isn't supporting impeachment, I have no idea. I called her office right before I got on the phone with you. And ask her to support impeachment. If you have a representative that's already supporting it, call their office and tell them that you support them. If you live in a red district, call your representative so they understand how their constituents feel. If you only call your representative who has made a decision or you think is definitely going to go one way or the other, then you're not going to move the needle. And be specific. Tell them you support impeachment due to very specific violations of the Constitution, both domestic and foreign emoluments and bribery, the abuse of power, the stuff that's going on now with Ukraine, and the obstruction in the Mueller report.
Let me give people some help here with that, okay? Number one, if you go to randyrhodes.com and you go to the homework, there's an article in there. I think it says, explained in 40 sentences, okay? Print that out, and when you call your rep, just go through that list. It's 40 different crimes that Donald Trump committed. It's from the New York Times. So just print that out and have that and then dial. The people that we need to call the most are people who are in GOP-leaning districts where a Democrat has won.
Yes.
Hey, Randy, is Hastings
Are you talking about Alcee Hastings?
No, not Alcee. I know Alcee Hastings. The white guy, Jewish guy, attorney in Boca. He's
Ted
further
Deutsch?
west Boca. Ted Deutsch, thank you.
Oh, I didn't think he had a beard. Ted doesn't have a beard. He's bald. Does he have a beard?
Somebody else, but he's come out in public and supported. It's so important. Call your rep. It's the only way to move the needle.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are several dozen reps waiting for Nancy to give them the go-ahead to say yes. These are in blue districts.
Right. Listen.
And so you got to call them to move the needle.
Not blue districts, okay? So that's the wrong advice. Like I said, go to the homework section and print out. What did you tag that article? Something in 40 sentences. Yeah, print that out. It's a New York Times thing. And then if you live in a red district, but a Democrat has prevailed there, the vulnerable Democrats in GOP-leaning districts, those are the Democrats who would make the difference in moving forward with impeachment. That's who you need to call. Go to RandyRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.